breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. You already know what time it is. A Chicago officer was wet up yesterday on the south side of Chicago. Pay attention to this. Chicago's out of control. Chicago, I'm speaking to the youth and the elders. The feds are going to come in. They're going to come in. Today's election day. If you could vote, go vote for who you choose to vote for, but make sure you go vote. But no, Chicago, the feds are coming in. I'm going to play this video breaking down about the officer that was wet up yesterday. One of the victims was unalived yesterday. It's out of control. When they come in, it's going to be just like the crack era. Sit back, share this video, who you need to share it with. Hit the notification bell if you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video. Let's get this thing moving. All right? Yo, Unique Mecca audio here, man. We got a sad day today, man. Yesterday was Diddy's birthday. Quincy Jones passed away yesterday on Diddy's birthday. Could that be a sign? We do a whole lot of conspiracy theories and everything on here that you want. But look at that. Quincy Jones passed away on Diddy's birthday. Will they be releasing footage with Quincy Jones doing the Diddy joint? It's just a question, not to throw nothing on him on his, transformation day, but just letting you know that this is an ugly time and it's a war out there. I'm going to do a video later on Floyd Mayweather to show you how it's not just rappers. Young Thug is home, Little Dirk is locked up, Big Meech is home, Prince is home, Walter Tut is home. Everyone is home right now. And Tut, I seen your YouTube channel. Big shout out to Tut Joint. Y'all go check that out. But that's how family do. Sit back. Let's see what's going on with this officer that was shot in Chicago.
Yes, and that the medical examiner has just identified that fallen police officer as 26-year-old Enrique Martinez. Chicago police officer, he is one of two people shot and killed during a traffic stop on the city's south side. Police officials say the 26-year-old was on the job just shy of 3 years and was shot multiple times by a gunman. Now, police say the deadly encounter happened around 8 o'clock last night in Chicago's East Chatham neighborhood near East 80th and South Ingleside Avenue. Chicago police officials say the officers had stopped the vehicle with 3 people inside. Investigators say it was as the officers approached the car that someone inside fired shots, striking another person inside the vehicle who was also killed.
Hey, y'all, somebody sent this to me, right? My man sent this to me, a truck driver. I'm going to play this joint so that y'all hear this, so you can hear at least the audio. I'm not going to show the footage because it had a lot of watermark on it. And it was on Facebook. You know what I mean? So we're going to play this. Listen to the audio from that shooting that took place, right? It's getting ready to come up now. But I don't know if I really want to play this joint right now because it's so much going on out here that y'all have to, dude had a switch, man. You can hear the shots going off a mile a minute. It's like just crazy. Let's get back to this, man.
At this time, we know that there was one officer that discharged his weapon at the scene. Those officers' weapons are still being looked at right now. There's evidence to recover, and that's all the information that we have on it right now.
All right, so what happened is they pulled over a car on Chicago's south side, and dude was in the car. It was a Kia. They thought that they was a part of that crew that you seen. I might even go visit the Kia Boys in one of these states. But they got a crew called the Kia Boys where there's a bunch of young guys that's running around stealing Kias because they easy to steal. And then they go joyriding and they're saying that these brothers, had switches in the car And when they pulled him over, one wasn't trying to go in. He started busting and he wound up hitting one of his comrades. That's what happened when you're on the street. That's why I say don't go on the street. You don't want to be a part of that. I don't want you to be a part of that. You don't want to be a part of that. It's nothing nice out there. We're talking about a police officer losing his life. Chicago, the feds are coming. Today is election day. If you qualified and registered to vote, please go vote. Your vote count. Because when they get in there, they're going to have to look at Chicago and the same way they looked at the inner cities all over the United States during the crack era, and they decided to come in and do the mandatory minimum to sentence us where it's about the weight of the drugs that you have. I met brothers that was locked up with, a speck of crack cocaine and got life in prison because they used their criminal history to enhance them and things like that. So that's why I say it's not worth it. It was a war on drugs. Now it's a war on us. Just so you understand, it's a war on us. Don't say I didn't tell you. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a joint later on Floyd Mayweather. So it's not just rappers. It's not just gangbangers. They're going after you if you got that bag, man, and you have the color of persuasion.
Authorities say the suspected shooter tried to get away, driving away from the scene and hitting one of the other police officers in the process. The suspect then ran away but was caught a few blocks away. Superintendent Snelling says one of the suspects was under electronic monitoring but may have cut off his ankle monitor.
Dude got lucky enough to get out of court with an electronic monitor, and he allegedly cut off the monitor and was in the scene of the unaliving of a police officer in the south side of Chicago. You can't get no worse than that. If you don't vote, don't complain later. If you don't vote, don't complain later. After this video is over, go out and vote. Remember, after the video.
And we have to do everything that we can to keep violent offenders off the street, especially those who are repeating these acts. If we don't do that, then we're failing our citizens. We're failing our children. We're failing their futures. We have to keep violent offenders off the street.
Now, a third person inside the vehicle was taken into custody. The other officer who was injured is expected to be okay. I believe he was taken to the hospital in fair condition. Police say an officer at the scene did fire their weapon, but the scene, of course, is still being analyzed. Police do say as well that they did recover 2 weapons at the scene, one of them being a semi-automatic weapon with an extended magazine. At this hour, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability continuing to investigate.
Yeah, do you see how serious this is? I mean, if this is not breaking news, I don't know what to tell you. I'm tired of seeing this on the news. Everybody is on some crime scene, people getting alive, people getting wet up. None of that is cool, man. I don't understand how they even go to that in the first place or how they get there. But that's where we at right now. That's why I'm talking to youth. We're going to sit here and we're going to play a video from the police chief that's getting ready to, speak about what's going on and the investigation. All this is live breaking news because this is how we do it at Unique Mecca Audio. All right, here's the police chief, Snell.
As you know, I'm Larry Snelling, Superintendent of the Chicago Police Department. It is unfortunate that we're having this presser tonight because I come to you with a heavy heart because we've lost another police officer who was out working, attempting to protect the city, and was tragically taken away from us by gunfire.
And see, the same way he said that, I'm going to be the voice for the victims, not taking sides, but just so you could understand. Right now, in the victim that was allegedly driving that stolen car, his family members, friends, and peers is saying that he was out. They had no reason to stop him. They stopped him. Whether it was a stolen car or not, we don't know yet. But they're also mourning the death of the victim that the police officers is saying, I wish he would have stayed alive so we could have punished him and kept him in jail for the rest of his life. They lost an officer. The people on the street in the hoods lost a comrade. So everyone lost in this, and everyone is grieving and mourning, and not everyone is going to agree with everyone's side. The police is saying they side that they lost an officer that took an oath to serve and lost his life while serving. Then you got the hood that's going to say that we lost one of ours. He went out like a gangster because he was busting his gun. That's what the hood is saying. That's how the hood talk. Don't get mad at me. His comrades are saying he went out like a G because they knew that he lived by the street code. The officers are saying he went out as a victim because he was trying to protect the streets from these dudes that was living by the street code. So let's keep it going with his speech.
At approximately 8 o'clock tonight, in the 8,000 block of South Ingleside, our officers stopped a vehicle. That vehicle had 3 occupants. As the officers approached the vehicle, one of the occupants opened fire on a police officer and sounded like rapid fire.
See, that's one of them joints, right? Because we give it to you from a hood point of view, so don't get mad at me because you had a gangster channel. You chose to come to this gangster channel, so don't get mad when I give you this gangster rap official. And if you a rat bastard, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to tap out. And you already know the routine. Take that with you on the way out. Now, let's get back to my people that want to know what's going on. All right?
The officer was struck multiple times. There was also an occupant of the vehicle who was also struck by the gunfire. That individual is now deceased.
See, so what they're going to do is they're going to take the gun from the officer, check for ballistics, the same way they take a criminal's gun and check for ballistics and see which bullet matched the gun that was fired, because right now they're making it seem and saying, maybe true, just translating. That's all I'm doing. The officer, the chief police Snell is saying that he got hit by his comrade bullet that was firing a switch like he was in the back of the car, and it was just you know. And the other participants was clapping. That's what happened on the street. Because we don't realize that this is not a video game. You don't get a do-over. Just let me ride. It's like when I told you, I'm gonna ride real fast till we get back to this, because it's about the police, but I feel good right now. I just bought a brand new Saab. I spoke about this last week. When I bought the Saab, I had this little cute in the car. I'm driving the Saab, didn't get a chance to put the rims on it, going to take it to get the rims, and I hit the Bronx River, and I'm going up, and I bust to the left lane to get around the car, and then I see another opening, and I bust to the right lane to get on the car, and then when now I see an opening all the way to the right, that all that was empty, so I bust all the way to the right, and when I go all the way to the right, I see another opening back in the fast lane where I needed to go, so back over in the fast lane. So when I over into the fast lane, as soon as I went over the fast lane, the car felt like it was out of control, because I had the regular stock tires on with some little 19-inch tires. I was getting ready to get some 18-inch, wide Pirellis on some BBS, but didn't get a chance to. I was on my way to get them. The tire was this big. So when I did all that, and it's like, all over the place. When I did that, the car got out of control and spun around. I normally drive around doing donuts in my M3 or my, twin turbo or my, wide body, BMW, but I'm doing donuts everywhere. So the girl thought that when I and came back over to the other side, that I was just doing my regular antics. But no, the car was out of control. It started spinning. Woo, woo. And while it's spinning, I'm trying to get control, and I'm doing my little, technique. While the car going to the right, I'm pulling the wheel to the left, and the girl got her hands in the air, and she's yelling, woo! She's having fun because she thought it was a video ride. Same thing like when this dude started busting his gun. See, I bring everything back together. The comrades in the car, they was cheering because they was cheering, and that cheer was a form of a prayer, praying that God would get them out this situation from busting at the police. See how crazy that sounds? A dude is praying in the back seat while he's firing and busting a chopper with switches that God allowed the bullet to hit the target and them to get out of their situation. And at the same time, because we ride, some of my content flying hot, delivered fly. At the same time, the police officer is saying we gotta kill this criminal's bag, whatever color he is. And the police officer's praying to God as he's pointing his gun. I'm just keeping it 100 that he hit his target before the target hits him. That's what they call stand your ground. That's what happened in the real world. That's why I'm giving y'all these stories so you youngins out there know what really happens in this real world. The police officer is praying to God to hit his target, and the criminal is praying to his God, which is the same God, to allow his bullet to hit his target. Is this crazy? If this is crazy to you, you on the right path to becoming a citizen and a civilian. Little Dirk is locked up. And they thinking that, oh, we lock up little Dirk, all the problems in Chicago is going to stop. And now this. It's hard out there, Mr. Police Officer. Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Judge, Mr. District Attorney, Mr. Government Witness. It's hard out there on a black man in America right now, man. That's why they just praying for change. But today is the day to cast your vote for change. Don't not cast your vote and then sit back and complain about the conditions of your life. You don't vote, you don't complain. All right? Let's get back to this officer.
At which time, the individual who shot our officer attempted to flee in the vehicle, could not make good his escape, at which point he fled the vehicle on foot. Another individual in the rear seat of the vehicle was taken into custody on scene by officers.
You see that? My man Buster's done and said, I'm running. I refuse. Like there was an old dude named James Cagney back in the day could we ride. James Cagney was a dude say, you'll never take me alive, copper. And that's what my man in the back seat said. You see how twisted that mentality sound when you got your life together, you're on the right path, you're trying to do the right thing, you're paying your tax, you're moving forward to become a citizen, and you hear me telling you about a dude that's busting at the police and praying to God that his bullet hit his intended target. And then the same police that took an oath to defend the citizens is busting his gun at a victim and praying to his God to hit his target. And they're both right from where they're sitting. Because there's lanes to this. There's lanes to this. Just like there's rules to this. So I'm telling you, stay in your lane. Don't go on the porch. Because these rules is not comprehensible. An officer praying to God for his bullet to hit his target. A criminal praying to God for his bullet to hit his target. A police officer. If this is not twisted, somebody tell me. I want to say rest in peace to both victims, the police officer and the victim. And I must say it again, rest in peace to both officers, the officer and the victim. Let's get back.
After a foot pursuit and a search of the shooting offender, the officers were able to take that individual into custody. Our deceased individual was found to be in possession of a handgun.
All right. So they caught the shooter. You know what I mean? They caught the shooter is where it's at. You know what I mean? They caught the shooter. So being that they caught the shooter, you know what I mean? Now he's in custody, so we're gonna see where he's at. All right, let's go.
That I can't share with you right now because it's still under investigation. COPA has been notified. At this time, we know that there was one officer that discharged his weapon at the scene. Those officers' weapons are still being looked at right now. There's evidence to recover, and that's all the information that we have on it right now. Our officer who was struck was then driven to the hospital by our officers where he was pronounced. The wounds were too great for this officer to recover.
Rest in peace.
So what I do want to say is that our officers go out and they face this type of danger every single day. And this work is unpredictable. And we never know what's in store for our officers when they're out there trying to keep the public safe. And just remember, in a city where our officers are not safe, it's going to be hard for everyone else to be safe. That being said, our officers continue to go out there day in and day out and put their lives on the line to make sure that everyone standing here is safe. And we need to take notice of that.
I'm just keeping it 100 because this is a gangster channel, and I want you to know how a gangster think. The same way he said the officer go out there every day to protect and serve, and his life is in danger. Let's speak for the other side. Not saying it's right for you rat bastards. Just speaking for the other side. Now, his family members and friends, they sitting on the cut. They saying it's hard out there for a black man to survive because they always being attacked and targeted. And regardless what happened, the first thing they think in their mind when they hear it is that it was the cops against the robbers, and the cops is wrong, and our robbers was just trying to survive in this environment that they're forced to be in, that they had to make a choice of stealing, or maybe it was even a car. Now, it'd be crazy if it come out later on that the car wasn't even stolen. It was just a kid. They saw black dudes in it. They expect them to do that. But you never know in America. That might even be the next situation, God willing. But the same way the officers sitting there saying that they go out to serve and protect is the same way the hood is saying that they go out there to defend and survive these very people that's speaking, that took an oath, and they're doing a great job. Not saying they're not. So when I say these people, I know trigger words, for rat bastards. That everyone, well, oh, he's saying that. No, I just want you to hear both sides, how the officers thinking and how the victim's family and friend side is thinking. Let's go.
Because we cannot continue to go down this road. There is a family suffering right now. This officer was 26 years old.
See what I'm saying? The officer's family is suffering. But so is the victim. See, no one wins in this situation. That's why I say don't get involved in this situation. The officer's family is suffering, rest in peace to him, and the victim's family is suffering, rest in peace to him. There's two sides, two lanes, and two sets of rules. Is this too deep for y'all? Let's get back.
Was just shy of 3 years on the job. December 27th would have been his third year working as a Chicago police officer. He was a proud individual, very hardworking, and he gave his life for this city.
And that's the same way the victim's family is saying he was a proud individual, he was a father, he was a good brother, he was a good son, he was just trying to survive in this city. And the officer said the officer gave his life for the city. And they're both right. But there was a legal way to survive. Even if it was to just start a YouTube channel. Even if it was to just go get a job at McDonald's and not worry about your family, friends, peers, or whoever might look down on you for getting a job over there. So let's stop it. You know what I mean? So that's where it is. It's the domino effect, They all fall down. And they all have a story to tell. Let's get this moving. I know this content different, but this is what you get when you come to a gangster channel. All right?
And there's a family grieving, please, please keep the family in your thoughts and prayers, because this is harder than anyone knows, having someone taken suddenly from you like that. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Brandon Johnson. I appreciate him being here and stepping up as soon as he heard this, came out to the hospital. So I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, and after that, at some point, we'll open it up for questions. Mayor Johnson.
Now, let me say for the record, the ones in that car that's allegedly responsible for these actions, they too shall be punished for their actions. You have to think before you make a choice. And that's why I'm trying to help you make the right choice to not be a part of the street, not to put yourself in this situation, because I know when I was growing up, I heard a million times, man, I never let them take me alive. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, was a famous saying. I'd rather be judged by 12 jurors than carried by 6 pallbearers. You see how our minds is different? And that's why I'm glad I was able to get out of that gangster mentality. Who in their right mind could sit here and say that they wouldn't cooperate with the police to solve their own brother's murder? Who in their right mind would say that they'll take life plus 20 and serve 26 years before they was blessed by the Honorable Donald Trump to be able to come home under the First Step Act that he signed in? Who in their right mind would say they had a choice to put everything on their brother that passed, and they said, no, I want my mama to go to her grave knowing that only one of her sons was captured by the feds? If I was to cooperate on my dead brother, they would have got a conviction on him, what they call absentia, while he was unalive. And I didn't want that to be a part of my mother's legacy because of me. How many of y'all would say that? Well, that's how it was embedded in me, so that you fully understand. It's not worth it. Don't go out there. Don't tell me it's worth it. Don't tell me you understand when you don't understand. Let's keep this moving.
Thank you, Superintendent. Tonight, the city of Chicago, we grieve and mourn the tragic loss of one of our brave, a member of the Chicago Police Department.
You see what I'm saying? Sorry if I keep stopping. It's for you rat bastards that don't understand, right? The same way they're grieving for one of their lost officers, you better believe there's a shrine for the victim. Because in the hood, we celebrate our own, no matter what choices they make. We ride with our own, whether we agree with them or not. So the same way there's mourning this officer is the same way they're mourning the victim with a shrine in his hood on a corner, or maybe even they went to the scene of the crime. But you better believe there will be candles burning. That's just how it is, because that's the sides they chose. That's why I'm trying to help you to see both sides. That's all I'm doing with this. I'm not picking the side saying F the peoples, and I'm not saying F the victims. I'm saying that this is what it is, man.
This young officer courageously protected this city. As the family continues to grieve, the shock, the anger that they are feeling, I'm calling on all residents of this city to pray for this family, but I'm also calling on the residents of this city to put our arms around one another, and particularly our police department. This tragic loss cuts deep. The wound is severe. The only way we'll get through this tragic loss is if we put our arms around one another, recognize the value and the bravery of our police department, who put their lives on the line for us every day. The investigation will continue to unfold, but what we are calling for and what we anticipate and expect is swift call to justice, to make sure that those who are responsible for this tragedy are held accountable, and individuals who continue to seek terror in our city, we will hold you accountable. With that, again, our thoughts and our prayers are with this family, and as a city of Chicago, we will rise again. With that, turn it back over to Superintendent Larry Snelly.
Thank you, Mayor. With that, we'll take any questions.
Are you saying that the individual who fired at the officer, the individual that killed the officer, also shot the other occupant of the vehicle, or that's under investigation?
Well, it's still under investigation, but right now, at this time, the other occupant of the vehicle was shot multiple times, more than likely by the gunfire that was released in the vehicle.
More than likely,
Fired by police,
but not definite.
weapon from the deceased officer or from a different officer?
That we don't know. So, like I said, the officers' weapons have to be downloaded. That hasn't happened yet. So that's still under investigation right now. So once we have that information, we'll be able to get that out.
Superintendent, can you clarify what you said tonight? What is that character in the first place?
No. So right now, we don't know until we talk to the officers. Until we get that information, until this investigation unfolds and we get statements from the officers, we can't say for certain what those officers saw in their investigation when they pulled that vehicle over.
What district is the officer?
I'm sorry.
So what district is the officer?
The 6th District. 6th District, Gresham.
Did the shooter have any previous run-ins with CPE or any sort of record that you can speak on?
Right now, we can't speak on that because everything is still under investigation. That information will be forthcoming. But as we move along, we check those types of things. We look at backgrounds and things of that nature, but it's still under investigation at this time.
Superintendent, it's been reported that one of the offenders cut off their ankle monitor. Can you respond to that?
At this point, it's still under investigation. I can tell you yes, but it's still under investigation. We don't have all of the details around that right now, none that I can share with you, but yes, we have information that occurred.
Staying on that point, you've been very vocal about repeat offenders not getting what they really should in court. There's a huge, obviously, election that's coming tomorrow with the Cook County 6 attorney seat. What's the response to that?
My response is this. If we want to keep the city safe, when we know that we have repeat offenders, people who continue to offend, we have to stop them. We cannot allow people to continue to wreak havoc on this city, to victimize people with violent crimes, robberies, shootings, the trauma that they're causing for families and for individuals that they're attacking. They can never get that back. You may get better, you may learn to live with it, but that trauma stays inside of these people forever. And we have to do everything that we can to keep violent offenders off the street, especially those who are repeating these acts. If we don't do that, then we're failing our citizens. We're failing our children. We're failing their futures. We have to keep violent offenders off the street.
Final question.
No, we're not going to release the officer's name right now, out of respect for the family especially. We want the family to figure out how to deal with this right now, and no one knows how a family should grieve. Come from different cultures, different backgrounds, and we want that family to grieve the best way that they possibly can to deal with this level of trauma that's been inflicted upon them by violent criminals who should not be on the street. You just think about that. If they commit this type of violent act against a police officer with that level of brazenness, what will they do to someone who can't defend themselves? So I just want to be clear right now, Chicago Police Department is still dedicated to making sure that we keep this city safe, that we take care of our citizens, that we police in the best way possible to keep the city safe for your children, for the future of everyone who's standing out here right now. And we need to make that clear, because a lot of what we do as police officers gets lost in the chaos of those who want things to be chaotic. It gets lost in those messages of how bad we are as a police department. When no one is out there riding with these officers to see the great work that they're doing on a regular basis, I see it. The leadership behind me, they get to see it. We saw it on display this morning. Just this morning, we were giving officers awards for saving lives. And now we're mourning the loss of one of our great officers who's doing great work out there. So I just want to put it out there. Our officers are putting their lives on the line so that everybody in this city can be safe. We never know what we're going to face out there. And we want to make sure, because I'm telling you right now, we're hell-bent on making sure we keep this city safe. And we're going to continue to work toward that.
Are you able to just comment where the offender was arrested? Was it, you said it was after pursuit, was it a residence somewhere else?
That, I don't have that information right now, because that is still part of the investigation. So, as I said, as this goes along, we'll have more information for you.
Your message to the shooter tonight, the message to the shooter.
The message to the shooter is the same message that we'll give to anybody out here who's committing violent acts and continuing to do so and wreaking havoc on our city. We will get you, and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. We're going to do the best possible investigation that we can, collect all of the evidence to make sure that we put people like this away so that they never see the light of day again.
All right, so breaking news, man. Breaking news. You just heard that. That's what happened in Chicago. That's what happened in Chicago. That's what's going down live now. So, you know, we trying to get out of that, but we just want y'all to fully understand, you know, that this are trying times. We have to come together for our babies, because the feds are going to come in. They're going to come in, say they clean up the town. They're going to take all of them, relocate their families, grandmothers, everybody that's been living there, and they're going to tear it all down. They're going to build high-rise condominiums. They can't afford to go in. They're going to relocate them somewhere else in America. All right? I don't want to tell you my other thoughts, but we're just going to leave it there, you know? So, you know, this is trying time, man. Been on here long enough, man. Make sure y'all share this video. And I'm going to be doing one on Floyd Mayweather coming up, an update on Floyd Mayweather. Make sure to join the membership. You're going to get these videos first. Let's get this party started. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio. G's in the 90s. Drop top Beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, you we got a lot to give. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish there. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yard. So we can get back to the